Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Holotide here, and well, it looks like there's a balance shakeup coming to Marathon relatively soon. The game director, Joe Ziegler, tweeted balance shakeup or looking to make some changes in the next couple of patches to adjust some of the outliers in the combat space that we've seen in both our observations and heard from your feedback across all of the various and plentiful channels we watch. Some of these changes will likely be coming in the next patch. The next set will likely be arriving a week after. Now, before we get into all those changes, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy Marathon, I could be your third favorite Marathon YouTuber. All you have to do is subscribe. I know a ton of you watch the videos and you just haven't hit the sub button yet. I'm trying to hit 26,200 subs by the end of the year, and we can definitely hit it with your help. So what do you have to lose? All right, in his tweet, he has a few areas that they're focusing on adjusting. And to be fair, these are a lot of things that I've also heard people complain about. First up, bubble shields being too easy to get and too powerful to use. I don't know, I kind of land on both. They are very easy to get, like I find them all the time. And as for too powerful to use, I think that if you're playing against an uncoordinated team, or they don't have like grenades and stuff like that, or they just don't shoot the bubble because they're scared or they don't know that they can shoot the bubble, then yeah, the bubble is pretty strong. I assume that they're just gonna adjust like the amount of damage that can be taken, as well as the drop rate. And I know in Cryo, it's become like the bubble grenade spam heaven. So I think that that's going to help alleviate some of the pain points on Cryo Archive, but we'll see what happens. I definitely think at maybe more higher tier play, they were becoming a little obnoxious, but I normally don't see them out and about. Next up is the knife scaling too easily to godlike power levels. Now, there has been a ton of discussion around the knife on social media and in like my videos comments. I think that there are multiple variables when it comes to the knife. I know a lot of people hate the assassin class because they sit in a corner invis with the knife out and all the melee damage perks and stuff, and they're able to just shed your shield and health and kill you super easy before you can even locate them and shoot at them. Other classes kind of, give themselves away because most of the time they're like sprinting to get to you to knife, they're trying to surprise you. And you can hear people's footsteps from a mile away. So I do think that the scaling is probably a good place to start. I know Arachne and stuff, and some of the implants have melee damage increases and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see if like the balancing of the knife just adds one extra swing in order for you to kill someone. And there's also multiple different types of like knifer stances. You got your like power swipes and your regular swipes, and the melee that's just like normal, your melee button. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm interested to see. I've had my fair share of being knifed, and it's not super fun to die to. But let me know in the comments down below. I know a ton of people are, on both sides of the fence when it comes to this. Thermal scopes being too present and dominant. This is another one that kind of goes both ways. A lot of the maps, it feels like, with the fog and stuff are kind of built to have these thermal snopes just thrive on, and it does feel like you're at a disadvantage if you're not using them, especially again like if you're going up against a assassin or something like that. I think that's going to be a hard one. I don't know if they just like nerf the range some more or if they like adjust the maps, so we'll see what happens with that. I am curious to see. Snipers being too strong in all scenarios. I really feel like a lot of people gravitate towards the shotgun as opposed to snipers. I really don't see a ton of people using them. I personally love sniping and love the snipers in this game, so we'll see what happens with that. I assume it's going to be like damage, balancing. I don't know if there's like damage drop off that they could adjust, but we'll see. Giving Vandal and Recon some more oomph to match their counterparts. Now, here's a hot take. I think Vandal is a very good class in the right hands. Now, it being in the right hands and, people knowing how to play that shell is not so common. To me, she's a repositioning, goddess, but other people, they just use her, I think, in the not the wrong way, but just like not to her full potential. As for Recon, I have a ton of feedback on Recon. You know, the tracker drone, not great. I actually had a little Twitter clip go viral. I'll be playing it right now with the tracker drone just not listening to its brain, I guess. And their prime ability is also kind of lackluster, just in the sense that you can't like differentiate runners from enemies. When you use it, it tells the other team exactly where you are. So we'll see what happens when it comes to that, what kind of changes they're gonna make, but I don't know. I do think Recon does need a little bit of love. What do you guys think? They also said that they're adding some stuff that can help add texture to the outcomes of fights. These are 2 secret items that they haven't revealed yet, but the first one is a new item to give solos a more common option when downed. Not sure what that means. It's not just like a self-revive, maybe like a depleted self-res or something. Or like, what if it was crazy that you could revive other solo characters? I don't know. They just stick some defibrillators on your character. And then the other one is a new item to give a more merciful option between crews. What does that mean? Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm actually very curious. They finish up saying there will be a lot more goodies in the coming patches and more details as the patch notes go live. Thank you all again for keeping the feedback flowing. We've still got a big list of things we're looking into that extends beyond this, that will take us more time to figure out, and we'll update you as we continue to build on our evolving plans. I'm actually super excited with the amount of changes and patches and updates that Marathon has been receiving. It's kind of crazy. I feel like normally patches and stuff like this are few and far between, but you know, so much has changed since the game came out. Feels like they're constantly updating and adapting to what players want and stuff like that. So that's a good sign. I think that they really want this game to obviously succeed and thrive. And reducing pain points from the player base is a good place to start. It doesn't really feel like they're super focused on things that don't matter as much, like microtransactions or anything like that. They really want to build this super strong foundation of the game, and then we'll probably see stuff like that later on down the road. They also didn't say anything about shotguns, especially the Waster again. I think nerfing the knife also indirectly makes the shotgun even more powerful, so we'll see what happens with that. But we can see these updates as soon as next Tuesday. I think that they've had downtime every single weekend for patch updates on Tuesday, so we will probably see something Tuesday. But looks like good changes. Again, I think like a lot of this stuff has like different variables and indirectly changes like other things, like you get rid of bubble shields, but then do you deal with grenade spam still? I don't know. I'm not a game dev. I'm just here to report on what is changing. But that's it for the video, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed, leave a like down below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.